Eswatini Daily News, the leading trade fair semis, capital city giants Mbabane Swallows put Ezulwini United to the sword in a 3-0 thrashing on Thursday night. Kanske lenile hamba embili injabulo targeting golden boot as aqhubeka faka wona imagoli lekugcina ke iqhamuka on the international front. Mo Salah is set to stay at Liverpool.
All right, it's 5 minutes after 6. Let's take a break. Nasbuya, sithatha indaba tethu for Eswatini.
Umsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eveni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba letentiya ngaleso sikhatsi tindzaba letide emagama lacosheme letitsembekile letitsintsa tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni
kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo netemhlaba wonke jikelele siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhatsi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulo msakato siphinde sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuye emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letiqhamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba lowutiletselwa ngumsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Tindzaba inkosi yebesuthu inkosi letsiye wesithathu itsine lethemba kuthe eMaswati atawuchubeka nekubumbana nekuba munye abe nekuthula aphindze ke yakhumbule omlandvo nemvelaphi yawo. Inkosi yebesuthu bekadze ikhuluma esidlweni sakusihlwa state banquet esigodlweni kaLozitha.
Bayethe wena waphakathi Nkosi Ndlovukazi Hlekazi
lesidlo sakusihlwa bese sekuhalalisela kutalwa kwengwenyama kunye nekubongela live leSwatini iminyaka lengaka solo lathola inkhululeko kulandzela kuthi lo mkhosi ugujwe enkundleni yesive kaSomhlolo lelilanga lephethe ngekuthi emakhosi ahlanganyele nesive esidlweni sakusihlwa lebesendelwe esigodlweni kaLozitha. Labanye bebakhona kulesidlo sakusihlwa bekuyinkosi yebesuthu inkosi lethiye wesithathu Mengameli welive le-Taiwan, Her Excellency Tsai Ing-wen, lobeka ngumengameli even leNingizimu Afrika, lobeka ngumengameli even laBotswana, kanye naletinye tivakashi tengwenyama. Live likhonile kuphumelela kulokuningi ngaphansi kwebuholi bengwenyama. Kulo mnyaka kuningi lokuhle lokwentekile even leSwatini, njengoba lucwaningo lelibhange lakamhlaba libekele eSwatini esigabeni sesihlanu ekuthuthukeni kwemnotho kumave ase-Afrika. LeSwatini laphindze laba live lekucala emhlabeni kufeza umgomo we-HIV and AIDS wa-95 wakamhlaba. Inkosi yebesuthu inkosi lethiye wesithathu ibonge ukuthi ingwenyama immeme kunye naletinye timmenywa leticavile ukuthi bete kutawuhlanganyela nelive leSwatini kulo mkhosi loyingcopha mlandvo.
We come to the kingdom of Eswatini driven by a deep sense of friendship, driven by a deep sense of solidarity with the kingdom and the people of Eswatini. For all of us, that friendship, that solidarity is anchored on deep and sometimes familial relationships, personal relationships, that go back many, many years. For some, because of their age, goes back further than others.
Inkosi yeBesuthu iphindze yafisela ingwenyama lunwele loludze nentuthuko lekhonsile eveni.
In the last day or two, we have had the pleasure, we have had the privilege of witnessing your people celebrate your birthday, celebrate their independence. And we have seen that they have done so with great happiness and joy. We have seen that they have done so as a united people, as one people. And motivated and driven by a sense of national unity and national pride. What we hope for, Your Majesty, is that that sense of joy and happiness, that sense of pride and national unity, will live beyond the celebration.
Silo semhlaba sibe sesisika likhekhe kuphetha lolusuku embi kwendlovukazi mhlekazi naletinye tivakashi temakhosi. Etintsabeni kubika Pholile Maziya esigodlweni kaLozitha.
Umhlangano wekucala ngca wemave ase-Afrika wekudzingidza tindzaba letiphatselene nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu i-Africa Climate Summit ufike emaphetselweni ngekutsi-ke baholi bemave bavumelane ngavilinye ekutheni kube nemitselo labatawubhadalwa noma-ke lotawubhadalwa ngemave onkhe emhlaba. Le mali letawubutfwa kule mitselo itawusetjentiswa etinhlelweni letihlose kumelana nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu. Kulesivumelwano lesatiwa nge-Nairobi Declaration, baholi baphindze bavumelana kutsi akubukwe tindlela letingaletsa tingucuko ekwesekeleni yemave livekati le-Afrika ngetimali. Kulo mhlangano uliphini landvunankhulu uThemba Masuku bekamelelwe ingwenyama noma-ke bekamelele ingwenyama iNkosi Mswati wesithathu.
Lesivumelwano se-Nairobi Declaration singumkhombandlela wemave Afrika lotawuhola kusebenta kwetindzaba tekugucuka kwesimo selitulu kanye nekufuneni timali tekusekela tinhlelo letihlose kusita emave kutentfutfuko yawo letawumelana nekugucuka kwesimo selitulu. Njengoba-ke baholi bagcizelele kutsi emave angatikhandza khetsa emkhatsisini wetifiso tawo tentfutfuko kanye nekumelaneni nesimo selitulu. Lesivumelwano sithi emave awasekelwe nhlangothi tonkhe. Lesivumelwano sengisona simelele bantfu belivekati le-Afrika labasigitsigitsi nencenye 1.3 billion kanike le nombolo lena kubheke kutsi ibe seyiphindzeke kabili ngemnyaka wa 2050. Lesivumelwano sitawuphindze sibe linyawo lwe-Afrika letawusima ngalo nayifaka tifiso tayo emhlanganweni we-COP28 lotawubanjwa ungakapheli lomnyaka eveni le-United Arab Emirates. Lesivumelwano siphindze sihambisa embili kufukulwa kwemnotfo yemave emhlaba kusetjentiswa tindlela letingayilimati imvelo. Ngekwenta njalo lesivumelwano sithi kutawuba nekulingana kanye nentfutfuko le onkhe emave emhlaba tawuhleshulelwa kuyo.
The declaration we make to the world today.
Lesivumelwano lesisimemetela emhlabeni namuhla siveta ngalokusobala ukuthi iAfrika imephe etindzabeni tekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu kanye netintfo le iAfrika ifuna ukuthi umhlaba utinake kute umnotfo kanye nemvelo kusimame.
Imperatives are effectively, coherently, and sustainably achieved.
Lokunye lokucukethwe kulesivumelwano indzaba yemave leyimikhicito yayo ikhafula imfutfu lengcolile kanye nalawo ladla lizambane lampondo. Lesivumelwano sithi lamave lawa akagcine tethembiso tawo tekwesekela tinhlelo tekugucuka kwesimo selitulu ngetimali. Kuthiwa lamave lawa enda sethembiso iminyakeni lelishumi leyengcile kuthi atawufaka imali lenganga $100 billion. Livekati le-Africa ngilona liyati kahle kamhlophe imithelela yekugucuka kwesimo selitulu. Litelo nakuncane kakhulu lapho lifaka khona sandla kulesimo. Labendalicwaningo bathi i-Afrika itfola lokulishumi ekhulwini uma sekutekwa tindzaba tekwesekela ngetimali tinhlelo te-climate change. Kulo mhlangano bohulumende kanye nebatshali timali bethembise kwesekela livekati le-Afrika ngetigidzi temadola asemelika. Kanike labavele baphumela ebaleni kwacaca kube live le-United Arab Emirates. Lelona lithe selivele libeke eceleni imali letigidzi letine nengcenye $4.5 billion kusita i-Afrika kule nkinga leyikhungethe yesimo selitulu. Antonio Guterres utshele lo mhlangano ukuthi i-Afrika ingawenta umlingo sigucuke lesimo lebhekene naso. Yingci nje uma ingakhona kusebenzisana nemave lasatfutfukile, tinhlangano letesekela ngetimali kanye netinkampani letisebenzisa buciko. Lokunye lokukhulu kulesivumelwano indzaba yokuthi ayibukwe indlela emave ase-Afrika labolekwa ngayo timali. Lesivumelwano sithi emave ase-Afrika kufuta abhadaliswe kakhulu maboleka kude ate utonza. Lengekwenta njalo atasayakhumbula ukuthi anemcebo waphasi lekumele usetshenziswe kukhicita imikhicito elivekati le-Afrika lengabe seyithengiswa ngalenhle imali etimakethe temhlaba. Umhlangano sowuvele wephethiwe. Kubika John Molele Gang ngise-Nairobi, eKenya.
Indvuna yelitiko letekuvakasha nemvelo Moses Vilakati ithi ngemicimbi nemikhosi yelive lechubekako event tekuvakasha-ke titawugcine tifaka lokulishumi ekhulwini emnotfweni welive. Indvuna beyikhuluma ngesikhatsini-ke tasithombe ngempelasonto lebeyicuketse imicimbi leminyenti ye-event lekhange tivakashi letinyenti.
Impelasonto yasukela mhla lulunye enyangeni yenyoni beyicukethe imicimbi leminyenti kufaka ekhatsi umbukiso wedududu nembukiso welive lochubekako i-Eswatini International Trade Fair lekhange tivakashi letinyenti lapha eveni kufaka ekhatsi nemikhosi yelive lokungumkhosi wemhlanga laphinze live laseswatini lagubha iminyaka lengama-55 ingwenyama yemaswati yatalwa neminyaka lengama-55 live laseswatini latfola inkhululeko. Sicocisana nendvuna yelitiko letekuvakasha nemvelo Moses Vilakati ithi ngale micimbi le kanjena luhlangoso letekuvakasha litawukhona kufaka sandla lesibonakalako emnotfweni welive.
Lokusho ukuthi tonke letinto tiyahlangana. Sineke kuyasijabulisa kakhulu lokho nasibuka nje sibuka abantu beta ngoba kusho ukuthi umnotho uyakhuphuka kusho ukuthi bantu labe bangakaqashwa itolo batawuqashwa silose ukuthi ngeminyaka kube na 2 million wetivakashi nokusho ukuthi tibe ngetulu kwale lenani lebantu lesinalo. Nyalo sesiyabona ukuthi sesifuna kufika cishe lapho. Kona singakefiki sengaphasana kwa half. Lokho kusho ukuthi ufuna sisebenze kamatima. Ikakhulu labantu lekufanele sisebenze kuwo ngilekwanzisa letindzawo letekuthobeka lapho abantu bangeta khona bafike bangcebeleke bafike bente njani babuke letindzaba tethu bese siyathi sina sebalapho khona lebatase bayakwena phinze sisanzise lemikhosi.
Ngekusho kwembiko welitiko letesekhaya sukela ngaleSihlanu kude kube lisondvo mhla titintsafu eheke nengwenya kungene bantfu labangetulu kwetinkhulungwane letisiphohlongo 8,839. Etindzabeni ye-Eswatini TV kubika Samkelisiwe Khoza ngasimufa Shongwe kaManzini.
eMaswati solwa kakhoni tikhicitela inyama yenkhomo leyanele. Christopher Gametse welitiko letekulima uthi isomiso seminyaka wa-2015 kuya kumnyaka wa-2016 soloke sinemitselela lemibi emkhicitweni welive lokwenta ukuthi eMaswati angakhiciti ngalokubhekekile. Gametse bekakhuluma nebetindzaba e-Trade Fair ngalesine.
Nyaka live laseswatini likhicita inyama yenkomo lengu-12,000 tons. Liveke soloka likhicita inyama yenkomo leyanele lebekwe timakethe taka-EU kanike lekhicitelwa ukuthi idliwe lapha ekhaya yona-ke yanele. Christopher Gametse welitiko letekulima utsi timo letahlukahlukene letente umkhicito ube ngilowo lophansi.
Le makethe lebekasinikete yona EU solo sehluleka kwimitha yenkulu kakhulu and it's open wide nyalo siyehluleka nje honestly speaking lokufika sithi simithe le target yabo kwanyalo silive simoshwe nje tingcinamba letincane letingasidodi nkhulu ikakhulukazi kuqhamukele isifo se-foot and mouth sabamba lesikhwahlande kanti ngumthombo wethu lomkhulu losikhwahlande ngibo licishe sisherishelana nabo letinkomo so kwasenda lokuthi la khatha Eswatini salibala guquka ndzawonye singasakhona ukuhlenga kahle noma kulungisa kahle lo mhlambi wethu sisolo ke sibulawa ngo-2016 la sakhona sashaya somiso ikakhulukazi solo sinawo lo mthelela waso tot namuhla
Kametse uthi basetawubuyela bahlale phansi bente netindlela letinsha tekukhulisa umkhiqido wenyama yenkomo.
Bafuyi bethu basengakhona lokukhetha loluhlobo lolungilona lukhona kukhicita inyama so ngento awuthi njengaloku silitiko letekulima thina sitawuthi namuhla sikhicita ngalokhu sezingene siphindze futhi sivule emathuba langenamkhawulo kilo eMaswati
Kanti embukisweni walonyaka luchubekako tikhona-ke netingulube lelithi litiko sive sisachubeka kanti-ke futhi senda kahle ekufuyeni phindze-ke khicite inyama yengulube etinsebeni ngingigiyani Msibingi Nasimuva Shongwe sise-trade fair kaManzini.
Kulandzela ukuthi umhlaba ugubhe elisuku lwekusebenza kwamaphoyisa elangeni la itolo umchumanisi wamaphoyisa anesive kuleli iphindile vilakade uthi bangulombutho ngekubambisana nahulumende sebente konke lokusemandleni kuqinisekisa ukuthi kusebenza kwabo kuyahambisana nemigomo lemiswe ngumhlabuhlangene ekusebenza kwamaphoyisa.
Njengoba umhlaba ugubha lolusuku umchumanisi wemaphoyisa anesive iphindile vilakade uthi lo mbutho sewuthuthuke kakhulu etinhlangothini letiningi. Letinhlangothi tifaka ekhathi kubamba lizinga lemhlaba ekusiteni sive. Vilakade uthumisa uhulumende wembube ngekwenyusa lizinga lokucasha kulombutho kanye nokunikwa kwabantu besifazane tihlalo letisetulu lekuyinto lokuthathwa ngumhlabuhlangene.
Nathi siwabukile ama-standards njengekumiswa ngomhlaba wonke jikelele ukuthi siwanake. Sibonile ukuthi laba kuhambisa embili nje kulona mkhankaso ngokusetshenziswa kwabomake kakhulu etihlalweni letisetulu te-policing lebe kuyinto bengekho kadzeni. Sitvumise-ke ukuthi nemakhosi alelive loko akuthethe aku-embrace.
Vilakade uchubeke wabonga sive seMaswati lesesikhombe kuba nelwati ngemthetho. Lokhu uthi kubonakele ngendlela labakhombe kutiphatsa ngayo kusachubeka imikhosi lehlukene eveni. Uthi nelinyenti letigila mkhuba bakhona ukutithola ngekubanjiswa ngiwo eMaswati.
Sebenzisana kwethu nesive kuphakeme kakhulu sikubona lokho kule msebenzi esibuya kuyo kubambisana kube sezingene lisetulu. Siyakhumbula ukuthi bekunelikhetfo manje bantu basibambisa ngendlela emangasako bawahloniphe emaphoyisa futhi bantu sebakhona kude emaphoyiseni bathi hayi mina ngibona ngathi singasebenza kahle nasingenda kanje.
Ngekusho kwamabhalane jikelele wakamhlabuhlangene Antonio Guterres injongo yalusuku kukhumbuta emaphoyisa bomcuka bekusebenza ngekutikhandla etindzabeni tekuthula tekuphepha kanye nemthetho. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV umpendulo Gumbi Vuma Inkosi Nzinisa na Fortune Dlangamandla eMbabane.
Inkantolo lenkulu seyimise eMashumi Shongwe ukuthi akangalithengisi likhaya lemkakhe Tigezile Shongwe lasolwa ngekuthi wambulala. Lesijubo senkantolo sikhishwe lijaji lenkantolo lenkulu Mamsi Dlamini.
Temabhengeta Shongwe lendvudzakati yemufi Tigezile Shongwe lokusolakala ukuthi wabulawa ngekudutshulwa ngumyeni wakhe Mashumi Shongwe sawugijimela enkantolo kuyomisa Mashumi ukuthi angalithengisi likhaya lemufi lelamakamelo lamathathu futhi lise-extension 4 enhlangano. Emaphepheni lasenkantolo Temabhengeta utshele enkantolo ukuthi unina washona ngenyanga yeLweti eminyakeni lophelile kanti ukuthi ngenyanga yaKholwane watfola umbiko ku-anti wakhe Kusile Magongo ukuthi likhaya liyathengiswa enkundleni yetekuchumana iFacebook. Uthi wamangala kakhulu njengalokhu yena bekangadi ukuthi lelikhaya liyathengiswa kani ungilomunye olababukela ifa lemufi. Temabhengeta uthi akusiko kwekucala Mashumi etama kuthengisa lelikhaya. Uthi esikhathini lesengcile Mashumi etama kuthengisela abantu labachamuka kumava sesifundza se-Asia ngesikhathi asaphila umufi. Temabhengeta uchubeka uthi kude ngisho munye bekade ngalokuthengiswa kwalelikhaya. Uthi Mashumi uke wetama phambilini eha yena Temabhengeta kanye nemnakabo ukuthi basayine ubufakazi lobufungelwe leyo busi lelikhaya sebalinika yena Mashumi. Uthi noma abusayina lobufakazi lobufungelwe watisa inkantolo ukuthi bekakazi angakafunzi lokhu bekade kubhaliwe. Uthi wakwenta lokho ngekuthi bekathemba ukuthi Mashumi njengalokhu angiyise wakhe lamtalako bekangacabanga ukuthi Mashumi angahle ababhekisele phansi babantu bakhe. Temabhengeta uthi Mashumi ukwenta lokhu ngalokuthi yena usekolleji emaphoyiseni lakafundzela khona ngakho akakhoni kufinyelela efayeleni lelifa lemufi idigezile. Mashum sekaphendvula letinsolo letentiwe indvodzakati yakhe etemabhengeta usemhlanganweni wemndeni wakubeka ngalokusobala ukuthi bantwana bemufi kumele bahlephulelane tindvo tenina. Mashum uthi kwavunyelwana ukuthi temabhengeta utothatha imoto yemufi bese indvodzana yabo Sibusiso Shongwe uthatha lo mhlaba njengaloku temabhengeta bese avumile kuvala sikhala senini emaphoyiseni uthi akatanga mphocelele temabhengeta ukuthi asayine lamaphepha. Mashum uthi kuyihlambe esifundini sakhe nasempilweni yakhe nje kuthi sangasolwa ngekutimbandzakanya netindvo temufi njengaloku akubeka ngakusobala ukuthi akafuni ukutimbandzakanya nato. Uthi akatange yena sekafake sikhangiso sekuthengiswa kwaleli khaya. Mashum uchubeka ukuthi indvodzakati yakhe temabhengeti inenhlitiyo yasathane njengaloku itama kudvonsela phansi isifundini sakhe ikakhulu njengamanje lokangenela ukhetho lokuba lunga leParliament elikhwetheni lelive lelichubekako kubheke ukuthi ngalesithathu evikini lelitako litekwe lelicala. Etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla isenkantolo lenkulu.
Kutemidlalo likhethelo lesive lema under 20 lemidlalo webhola lidlale ngekulingana kanye nelikhethelo lesive lase Mozambique lema under 20 ngeligoli linye ngalana ngale emidlalweni webungani lobe uhambisana nemkhosi welive wekugubha iminyaka leng55 live latfola enkhululeko kanye neminyaka lefanako ingwenyama yemaswati yatalwa. Umceceshi welikhethelo lesive lema under 20 Mduduzi Nxumalo uthi lo mdlalo ubasite kakhulu ukulungiselela imidlalo yema under 20 yeKhosafa yeminyaka losedulu.
Likhethelo lesive lema under 20 lithola nedulu nalelo lase Mozambique lokube ngumdlalo lobo uhambisana nemkhosi welive wekuba neminyaka leng55 live lathola inkululeko kanye neminyaka lefananayo ingwenyama yemaswati yatalwa. IMozambique ikhombe kuba nemandla esigabeni sekuqala salomdlalo ngesikhathi itfola ligoli lekuqala ngemuva komzuzu lengama-20 umdlalo udlaliwe sigaba sekuqala saphela ihamba phambili ngeligoli linye ecanzeni. Isigabeni sesibili Eswatini naye inyuse lizinga lapho khona itfolele kulinganisa. Abekhona amathuba lamanyenti ukuthi Eswatini ingathola lesibili kodwa-ke lo mdlalo ugcina uphela ngeligoli linye ngala nangale. Mduduzi Nxumalo lokucecesha lona likhethelo lema under 20 uthi lo mdlalo uphenze wabanika lithuba lokulungiselela imidlalo emakhosafa under 20 yalonyaka.
Team of young boys, they are new, majority of them, so we are just still trying to mold them to make sure that we have a better team when it comes to time for the tournament. But we are hoping that we will get the chance to train them before the tournament, and I'm hoping the boys will be ready. Also, I think what disturbed us the most is because it is off-season. So now the players are not training at team level, so you only train when they come here.
Saidate Movia lokucecesha ama under 20 ase Mozambique uchazile ukuthi live leSwatini libanike bulukhuni kulomdlalo.
Project that we have it's to go to under 20 Kosafa also, so we are preparing the team. We think that we are in the good conditions now to be in Kosafa. So we are not all. We try to invite under 15 TDS team and under 17.
Yamaswati abonakale ayisekela likhethelo lema under 20 lokuyinkomba ukuthi likhethelo lesive sihlangu semnikati linalo likusasa lelihle. Lobikela umsakathi Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanti umbiko uhlanganiswe nguFabrice Msonera eMbabane.
Kholo muhle bethi ngako ke lesikuphathele dona lo mhla eksena sibahlelwe emarket sibuye sichubeke nehlelo.
The Board of Trustees, Management and Staff of the Public Service Pensions Fund congratulate Their Majesties and the entire Eswatini nation on the auspicious occasion celebrating 55 years of His Majesty's birthday celebration and the country's independence. Halala Mbangazita, halala Eswatini.
Tifumvota namhla esomveni betingakacanzani nathi. Hawu mngani, usho ngani? Bekukhulunywa bafana kuphela, buka nje bekukhulunywa ngekusoka. Ushiyekile impela mnganami. Angayiva kahle lenzaba. Phela ngeke kusoka bobhuti. Nanathi bayazivikela kumdlavuza womlomo wesibeletho. Futhi kusoka kuyingcenye yezindlela zokuvikela iHIV even. Kanti ke naye ebhuti masekasokile. Uyativikela kumdlavuza wemvuku. Uyabona mngani ngishiyeke mbamba. Uyabona babuya kutofundisa betempilo. Ngitolalela.
Lo mlayeto ulethelwa litiko letempilo. Kuva kabandi, shayela 2030.
Welcome back. Sakuvusela nawo losanza kusivulela as always on Fridays. Sihlala sikhuluma tona tindzaba tekubhadalwa kwemthelo with Communications Director waka-ARS Vusi Dlamini. Last week Friday ke sakhuluma ngendzaba importation of motor vehicles from outside SACU, and this week sesichubeka nayo this topic. Inhloso ke yale topic kusita wona ama clients IRS lafuna ukuthenga timoto ngaphandle kwesifundza saka SACU ukuthi yakhone ukutilungiselela ngekubhadala kwemthelo and other measures nje before the import motor vehicles. Sasinaye ke lapha Vusi ukuthi asichazela ukuthi yena sibuka dona nje tindzaba tekubhadalwa kwama-levy naletinye tinkinga lesingazange sikhuluma ngato last week. Eba nje before singene kuloko ukuthi asiniketa nje just a recap of lo mthelo lona lesikhuluma ngawo. Nkosi, good morning and welcome. I think mhlawumbe nje ukukhumbuza ababukeli before nje singene kuloko lesikumele sikhuluma ngakho namuhla, just a recap of lo mthelo nje walamuhla lesikhuluma ngawo.
Thank you, Lulu. We sibonga lithuba again ukuthi sitokhuluma ngato tindzaba temthelo. As you mentioned, nalamuhla sasho ukuthi evikini lephelele sitawuchubeka lamhla sitsinza letinye tihloko kuyo indzaba yekungenisa timoto even lakangwane lechamuka from outside of SACU. Letimoto letike, it's very important because siyati ukuthi labanengi vele bayatitsenga letichamuka emaven lanje ngabo like Asia, from various countries, as I say, overseas. The one very important thing we emphasize as we remind each other, when you bring these cars into the country, you will have to remember, it's not only 15% VAT that you pay. So it's very important to understand the logo, because these goods or cars are coming from outside of SACU. So you will pay what we call the customs duties, but you will also pay VAT over and above that. And that is very important. Nale documentation yakhona ke tawukhanza ukuthi icishe ibene kwehluka kuloku lesiya isikudzinga nangabe bowuyithenga le moto uyithenga mhlawumbe eSouth Africa. And nakhona ngicela ku-emphasize because some people will also confuse things ngekuthi utawuthi umuntu le moto ngiyithenge eDurban lapho khona kuhlala leti moto lengidawuthi tisuke at port tingakangeni eSouth Africa, but tithengwa nathi suka lapho vele tisuke tingayi eSouth Africa tiya to other countries including our own country. So labanye ukhanza ukuthi utawuthi yena no, mina le moto ngiyithethe eDurban angayithathi from Dubai or wherever la ngithi ngiyithenge khona. So then I expect that car will then only pay 15% VAT. you will still have to be expected to pay EMA customs duties on that motor vehicle. I think that is very important. Then the other thing that we need to emphasize is an export certificate. I-export certificate is a certificate lo itfola itana le moto ukuthi vele isuka kuphi, ngiyona lesitshela ukuthi le moto isuka kuphi, lekule live la isuka khona. Remember, there is an export and then there is an import. Naba isusa kule live la sethi isuka eJapan, they will issue that export certificate le show ukuthi le moto iyasuka lana vele siyayihambisa iya kule linye live. That is a very important document because ngiyona letasitshela ukuthi isuka kuphi vele leyo moto. And then I think today we also want to make an emphasis on, I think since last week in ye import permit. Because before we eat the moto lagangwane, it is very important that you apply for an import permit. It for lagala Minister of Finance gayona the import permit. Legungiona leta niga lelgunya legutsi vele le moto lo iletsago even lagangwane. Gufanele ingutsi ingeta even lagangwane. The import permitting ngiyo leta usitshela nekwekuthi le moto, because batak issue ishala import permit after sebabukile ukuthi uyawamitha in lama requirements egu-importa imoto into the country.
Yeah, right. Because I think vele sokuthinthe konke nje lokumcoka because akhuluma ngayo ne-proof of payment ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi lo lothenga le moto agcine receipt kude into obona nani ukuthi vele le mali uyithenge ngale amount lena. And sifuna kuveke namhla ukuthi what are the other measures that are applicable mangabe vele uletha imoto into the country nasibonje mhlambe kubhadalwa kwema-levy usihlukanisele nje ngako lokho.
Yes, a few years back, the Ministry of Finance introduced EMA levies on all motor vehicles that are coming from outside of SACU, and that is very important that we understand. I think the most important thing that we need to emphasize, Gutsi, a car that is, I think last week I mentioned, Gutsi, it's maybe Imoto 2013. I think I need to correct that, Gutsi. The car that we will allow into the country is a car that is not older than 15 years. That is very important that we emphasize. A car that is not older than 15 years. If the car is older than 15 years, then it will not be allowed in the country. Now, lama levies ke ahamba ngekwehlukana. Kushuthi nangabe le moto yakho umnyaka wayo between 0 and 5 years, you will not pay any levy. Lokusho ukuthi if you look at it now, Siku 2023, you will be looking at 2023 less 5, which will be around 2018. So imoto that will be younger than 2018, you will not pay EMA levies on it. Then there's 3%. I think it's for vehicles that are between 6 years, is it, and 10 years, and then you will be expected to pay 3%. Then there's 6% for the period between that and 15 years. Logosho would say any car that is up to 15 years but less than 10 years, you will be expected to pay 6% wema levies on that one. So that is very important. As we tsenga le moto ukuthi ukumbule, as we order ukuthi na utibalela levy lomthelo lokufanele ubhadale utibale tonke letinto leto so that you are not caught by surprise when you get to the port of entry.
Okay, just for the benefit of nje umuntu mhlambe nkosi lofuna ukuthenga imoto and sort of satisfied ukuthi ayithenge kuphi, you know, nasibonje mhlambe ama benefits from buying inside the SACU region compared to ukuthenga ngaphandle kwasakho nje usoshije ukuthi kuningi lokuthengeka kwa documents, export certificate, ma levy nani customs duty, VAT as well. Ngabe vele mhlambe ngama advisor uthini edlamini ukubuka nje tonke letingcabekelwana nje letikhona compared nas comparison lokho kuyi2.
I'd say people obviously have a choice where to buy motor vehicles or goods per se, because I think people look for all sorts of things, including the condition of the car and other things. But in as far as payment of the taxes and the complexities of bringing a vehicle in terms of documentation, I think if you're buying a car from South Africa or from within SACU, it's much easier because you are only going to pay the VAT, which is 15%. But with this one, obviously, you will have to pay a number of other taxes. and that at the end of the day may go, if sigubuga sigubala, you will find that in terms of duties and taxes, you will end up paying close to 60% or so compared to the 15% that you would have paid if you are buying from within SACU. Yeah, but I think also the one thing that we need to emphasize so that we are all honest with each other is if as a country we are buying our goods from within SACU, that means from an economy perspective in our SACU pool, we tend to benefit because remember, Timoto is high value items. So if our trade with South Africa, with other countries within SACU, predominantly is with South Africa, if we do it with South Africa, we tend to benefit more as a country than if we are buying these goods from outside of SACU. So that's the reality.
Okay, I think lenye nkosi ngifuna ukuthi sikhulume ngayo indaba ukuthi ngibekise nje ngithengele moto Japan. I was there ku auction. Ngayitfola ngemanani laphansi, but when you look at the value of the car niyabuka lokuthi hayi bekumele ngabe mhlambe ngithenge ngemali lesetulu, but of course ngiku auction ngitfole ngemanani laphansi. Ngabe vele mhlambe nangu kanjalo ni bese nibuka kanjani ni IRS?
Yes, I think again that goes back to what we call valuation, because first of all we look at the value of the item based on the price that you would have paid, which you and whatever proof of payment that you will give us. But if we are not, if the value, because you can buy a car from an auction, but it doesn't need to be too far from what the price of the vehicle, I mean the value of the actual, because if value an item, it's not really the price as it were. It is the value of the item. What is the value? Evaluate or what would be the value. Now, even though it's an auction, let's say you buy it for 10,000 Malangen, but if you bring it into the country, you could probably sell it for 30,000 Malangen, because that is actually the value of the item. So that's where we then start to discuss and say, how far off is it, the price that you paid for the item compared to what the value is, and we need to try and get it closer to that value.
Okay. Just to be clear, outside SACU, you need to consider that you pay VAT and also you pay customs duty.
Yes, you pay VAT, you pay customs duties, you pay VAT, but you also pay levies.
Levies, okay.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a lot of money. So all right. Before Sambe Jenkosi, sifuna kuva ukuthi nani sinibonile ukuthi niyakhangisa trade fair this year as your singabe vele mhlambe, what are you offering as a Eswatini lesivakashela stand?
We want to encourage, first of all, for people to continue coming to our stand. We appreciate Labo Konago figure bato phones about what we do, including such topics as we are talking about. I think people are taking interest in Zavente Gutsi Timoto Nangabeng Funangensa Imoto and Danjan Tinzabatek submit Agoma returns, where we are showing them how the e-tax platform actually works. We also use the opportunity to introduce our new system that is coming sometime in December for businesses to say the new system that will be coming, that will be replacing what they see now as e-tax, which is an improved system. We expect that it will do 1, 2, 3. So we are using that opportunity to actually talk to various businesses on that, including the AEO program. I think we've spoken about it here. Yeah. So we try and explain how it actually works and how it will benefit my business.
All right. So ni fika ngabanskati nihamba ngabanskati?
We are there as early as 8, and we normally would leave, depending obviously on the activity there, but we will leave in the evening around 7. That's the time when we will be leaving.
All right. Thank you so much, Nkosi Sibangakulu. Yes, Mbugeli, to visit the Eswatini Revenue Service stand corner a trade fair. Umbikiso walonyaka. Kepan gupi Holban.
We are in hall number 1.
Hall number 1.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Kwelesothi vele ukuthi IRS ukuyatfolakala ku hall number 1 nesiqiniseko ukuthi abavakashela khona a trade fair yalonyaka. Mangabe netikhala mhlambe ufuna ukubuta mayelana nekubhadala kwemthelo wakho bavakashele saveteleke lapha emlangeni ukuthi bakhona nje kusukela ngensimbi esiphohlongo ekseni bade bayovala intambama around 6 or 7. Second break start wesichibeleni hlelo.
Eswatini Lifestyle is all about inspiration, drive, and swag. Eswatini Lifestyle is informative and fun while covering all aspects of life, be it people, places, and trends in the kingdom of Eswatini. We got you covered. The focus is on the quality of life. Eswatini Lifestyle will spark your interest. Catch Eswatini Lifestyle every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Sibugo Semaswa.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
Alright, so welcome back. Siyakuvusela nawo losanza kusivulela nje budakumlo ukuthi umsakazo Eswatini TV nawo ukanekise e-trade fair yalonyaka. Sikhulumisene naye umxhumanisi waso station Nomcebo Malinga kusichaza nje ukuthi what are we as Eswatini TV offering sivele sawuvakashela stendi sethu. Let's take a look.
Sijabulisa sing Eswatini TV kusilonyaka sikhonile kutakamanzini at the International Trade Fair. Sitawuba nebabukeli baso steshi. Sikhona kwakhulumisa, sikhona ukuthi sive imivo yabo ukuthi ingabe yini esikayenda ngcono ukuthi ke lo msakazo akhona echubeka ukuthi alesithi inhlelo zijabulisa bona babukeli baso steshi. Mawufika e-Trade Fair ungena nje egedeni siko hall number 2 lapho khona sihlangenyele namanye ama ministries aka ICT. Eswatini TV uletindzawo leting2 mongena ko hall number 2. We have our studio lapho khona ngikhulumela khona bese sesiba ne business area lapho khona samukela onke ama clients ethu, ema viewers ethu and the public in general. Lapho khona sikhona kuba sita with whatever services or questions that they may have. This is a center whereby siyakhona khulumisa tindzaba te-TV license, siyakhona khulumisa tindzaba taka marketing ngoba sitanalo libandla laka marketing, siphathile ema rates love discounted, ema rates lakhona kusita wonke soma business, whether ngisoma business lomncane noma lomkhulu uyakhona kufika la e-trade fair uhlale phansi with our marketing team. Yikhulumisa lama rate card list now, which is very exciting, and manini ayo aphansi nje kakhulu nako lokweni sikuphethe. Abanye babukeli bakhuluma ngayo ukuthi intshintsha ngabe ukhona yini. Siyajabula kunatisa ukuthi intshintsha ukhona e-trade fair estandini saka Eswatini TV la e-hall 2. Siphinda sitholakale nangaphandle e-ground lapho khona nobona amathende lang2 labhaliwe Swazi TV and Eswatini TV aneke ukwentele mistake ukuthi kube you will not be able to identify us. We are making sure ukuthi si visible and the public ingakhona ku reach whether we are inside or we are outside. Letinye tindzaba letimnatsi siphathele tona sing-Eswatini TV tindzaba lethu ukuthi sina competition lapho khona sizobe siwenza a 50-inch smart TV. Lakufanele ukuthi ukwende umbukeli kuncane nje kakhulu ukuthi ubhadale i-TV license yakho ya 180 emalangeni lokho silapha e-trade fair. Wota na 180 emalangeni uyangena ekhathi e-hall 2 noma usikhaze ngaphandle e-groundini. Our licensing team is on standby to make sure ukuthi they enter you into this competition. Sunday sizobe sinayo lucky draw and kutoba nebamfikela batati winela noma umuntu ubuye utati winela smart TV kunalamanye ke ama prices lafaka ekhathi bona pontshintsha and many more. Lokwenye lokusijabulisa singumsakazo wayo Eswatini TV ukuthi sisakata bukhoma onke malanga lokuthi lapha e-trade fair. Namuhla sizobe sikhulumisa yona i-lifestyle. I-lifestyle is something that taps into everyone's element. You know, whether you are young, you are old, whether you are from the urban areas or rural or you are cosmopolitan, i-lifestyle speaks to our everyday. And now it's topic labatay by Buka Gabandi between 2 to 5 p.m. Sendlule ngemgcibelo lapho khona sizobe sikhulumisa more on creativity. Ngoba sibe sikhulumisa ema-arts. Arts ngilapho khona sibe khona sibe nama-artists, namaflabatfibago, bamlabahlebelako. Unoma u-creative using your own body. That is what we call ukuthi ngema-arts. Sibe sikhulumisa ke leyo topic kabanti ngawo umgcibelo. And Sunday tobe ke sikhulumisa ema-sports, which is very important. Siyathi ukuthi lokho nje i-trade fair besolo iqhubeka. Maningi ama-sports esikhonile kwa-witness are taking place. Bafaka ikhathi, basketball, netball, soccer. On Sunday, sitobeke sikhulumisa onke lawo ma-sporting codes and have some of these sporting personalities join us on those recordings. And lokunye, which is exciting, we want to get the public involved. So uma ngabe uyayithanda iEswatini TV and you're seeing a roving camera, make sure you go straight to that camera. Lapho khona uthola lithuba ukuthi ukhona ukuvusela abangani bakho netihlobo takho ekhaya. We are here for you. Sifikeleleni kuyasijabulisa kuEswatini TV ukuthi sisithethe lesikhathi ukuthi side sitawuhlanganyela nani.
All right, so that was our communications and brand officer Namcebo Malinga sichaza nje ukuthi what are we as Eswatini TV offering service amaswati listeners vakashela estanding set we see at folakala ke ku who want to visit us. Let's take a break, spend a traffic update.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time when no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Lesi sikhathi lapho khona emaphoyisa agubha kuba khona kwawo eveni. Kulapho kukhuthathwa khona sive ukuthi sike sihlale phansi sibuke bumcoka bemaphoyisa empilweni yabantu. Siphindze sibuke indlela letinsha tekuphepha kubo bonke bucala lobuveta sihloko. Sive sakangwane siyakhunjutwa ukuthi singawafaki emaphoyisa etinkulumeni tepolitiki ngoba liphoyisa alingeni futhi alingenelani nepolitiki. Emaphoyisa alwa nebucala netingoti temgwaco kuphela nje. Ingako emaphoyisa athi wonke umuntu eveni akahlale ngaphandle kwekunceneka ukuthi angahle ahlaselwe tilwane tasendle. Umuntu lohlala eSwatini akatiphilele atisebentele ngaphandle kwekwesaba kuhlaselwa kwemucwa nekucekelwa phansi kwempahla yakhe. Nawe wena lophathekile emaphoyisa athi digulele kahle uze uphile ngaphandle kwekuphathamiseka. Lokungenteka ngekuthi tidlova tingene tihlasele labo labakunakekelako kuleyo ndlu. Sive lesihlakaniphile nguleso lesiphakamisa kusebenta kwemaphoyisa nabo bonke labalwa nebucala. Ngale kwaloko timbungushe tiyawuwangenela emazinyane kungenamuntu ekhaya. Lo mlayeto niulethelwa ngemaphoyisa embube abambisene nomsakato wetithombe.
Welcome back. Lesikhathi sisitabo kwasemo semgwaco lomhla ekseni na Constable Ntombenhle Fakuthe asikuvusele emntolo lomhla ekseni kuhambeka kanjani emigwacweni elive.
Ngikuvusele eMagagula, ngivusele naye umbukeli weKusile Breakfast Show. Imigwaco elivala kangwane sesihlolile, imigwaco leminengi iyahambeka, yebo kona ikhona leyo lenetikhinya beto. Kepha ngeke timende leyo losebenzisa umgwaco ukuthi angakhone kufika lapho aphokophele kufika khona. Emadolobha elivela kangwane sesiwahlolile nawo, ibane temgwaco tiyasebenta cishe kuwo onke lamadolobha ngaphandle nje kwedolobha laseMbabane la khona besibikile itolo kwekuthi tibane temgwaqo laphakathi yana ka total atisebenzi lesingakubikela yena ke umlaleli nyalo ukuthi tonke letibane letikhona embabane siyasebenza kulolu suku lwanamuhla kepha ke uhamba nje kunetigaba la khona nakufanele kwekuthi kuvele yena umthibisholo noma ke iarrow lekukhomba kwekuthi ujikele ngesenxele noma ke ngesekudla ukhanze ukuthi leyo arrow leyo ayiveli sithi nje bashayeli noma sesisebenza totimbili letibane temgwaqo asichubeke sinakene kwekuthi siveta kahle yini lawo ma-arrows kuze kuthi sikhone kuphepha sisawusebenzisa umgwaqo. Umgwaqo losuka khona edolobheni embabane lo engakhona kubolate uye khona ko-checkers lo mgwaqo loyo lapha eceleni kwase-central esikolweni siyathi kwekuthi lo mgwaqo loyo lowunako kufeyila noma ke kudleka khona emaceleni noma ke la ngaphansi bekukhona ke nyalo ti-70 temgwaqo lapho siyawulungisa lo mgwaqo lokwenta kwekuthi imotolo tihambe ngemvila munye noma kuhambe yinye imotolo ngesikhathi atisakhoni kuphambana khona lapho kulandzela kona kwekuthi kuyalungiswa siyakhuthata nje sive senkosi kwekuthi sibeketelelane sisawusebenzisa lowo mgwaqo nyalo ke ngetithuba tasekuseni lo takhona embabane noma ke longena khona edolobheni kwathi sephela kwekuthi nyalo ekuseni imotolo ngene edolobheni tinengi kakhulu sikhuthata nje kwekuthi bangasebenzisa letinye tindlela tekungena edolobheni bosomhlolo road noma ke sihambe siyawungena khona endasi emangwaneni kuze ukuthi singatikhanzi sesibambeleleka sive senkosi nasemisebentini. Umgwaqo lomkhulu osuka khona eNgwenya uye khona kaManzini lokufaka ikhathi naye eMalagwane futhi sikabedo lesikhona lesingasibikela yena umshayeli. Ekhathi edolobheni kaManzini idolobha la kaManzini cishe ilanga lonke sigasile namuhla kwekuthi litabe vele liphithitela kwathi sephela kuthi kaManzini kulamalanga vele umsebenzi lomkhulu ukhona ngakhona ngendzaba yayo ishewu nje bashayeli basayasebenzisa leto titalati abashayele ngalokukhulu ukukhophelela baphindze ke banake kakhulu sona sitalati lesin central distributor la sona lesakhelene nayo imavuso la khona abantu sibabona babanengi kakhulu khona sithi nje bashayeli itubane lapho abalinciphise basawusebenzisa loyo mgwaqo. Ishiselo siyihlolile nayo umgwaqo losuka khona Gege uye khona enhlangano siyathi lo mgwaqo loyo kwekuthi uyakhiwa kuletinye tindzawo ke kunelithuli loluphakama kolube likhulu kakhulu bekwena kwekuthi bashayeli nangabe shothi bahamba ngetubane lesetulu balandzelana futhi bangetigaba letifisha bangavama bangasakhoni ukubonana lokungena sekwende tingoti sithi nje bashayeli basawusebenzisa lo mgwaqo abanakisise nekusho ke kwekuthi kuletinye tindzawo sekuhamba likhona litiyela but njeke la likhona khona ukhanza kwekuthi kusengadwetshwa phindze futhi nakuphela lelo tiyela ukhanze kwekuthi umgwaqo soyabuyela futhi uba ngiyo igravel lokwenta kwekuthi la usuka khona kuTarot so ungena khona kugravel imotolo nangabe ihamba ngelitubane lelisetulu khona lapho ungakhanza seyiphunyuka sithi nje bashayeli abanakisise basasebenzisa loyo mgwaqo ikakhulukazi nasebasuka kulolu tiyela sebangena khona kugravel ngale kwaloko Thombeni naye umbukeli imigwaqo elivela kaNgwane iyahambeka ngaphandle kwalesi nje lesisishito sikabedo kungaba kusela yena umbukeli usuku loluhle naloluphephile basetawusebenzisa yona imigwaqo elivela kaNgwane.
Sibonga kakhulu Ndolo kusiniketa leyo mbikelo omhla ekseni asibathethe emakethe esibeni tindzabade singisi.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
Welcome back. This is the news. His Majesty King Letsie III of Lesotho says there is hope that the people of Eswatini will remain united, peaceful, and will always remember their history and heritage. His Majesty was speaking during the state banquet of the 55th double celebration at Lozita Palace.
Bayethe wena waphakathi Nkosi Ndlovukazi Hlekazi.
It was indeed a majestic birthday celebration and significant independence celebration. The double celebration continued with a state banquet dinner after the national event that took place at Somhlolo National Stadium during the day. Their Majesties continued with the celebrations at Lozita Palace. Also present during the state banquet was His Majesty King Letsie III, the President of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Her Excellency Tsai Ing-wen, former President of the Republic of South Africa, former President of the Republic of Botswana, and other royal guests. The kingdom has been successful in a number of things under His Majesty's leadership. This year, the Kingdom of Eswatini has been on the spotlight for the right reasons, and the greatest recognition is by the World Bank that the country's GDP has grown in Africa. Also, the United Nations recognition for being first nation in the whole world to achieve the HIV and AIDS global range 95-95-95. His Majesty King Letsie III said they are honored to have celebrated this historic milestone with their Majesties and the entire nation.
We come to the Kingdom of Eswatini driven by a deep sense of friendship, driven by a deep sense of solidarity with the kingdom and the people of Eswatini. For all of us, that friendship, that solidarity is anchored on deep and sometimes familial relationships, personal relationships that go back many, many years. For some, because of their age, goes back further than others.
The king then proposed a toast to His Majesty and the kingdom.
In the last day or two, we have had the pleasure, we have had the privilege of witnessing your people celebrate. Celebrate your birthday, celebrate their independence. And we have seen that they have done so with great happiness and joy. We have seen that they have done so as a united people, as one people. And motivated and driven by a sense of national unity and national pride. What we hope for, Your Majesty, is that that sense of joy and happiness, that sense of pride and national unity will live beyond the celebration.
The event was ended by the cutting of the cake by His Majesty. The king cut the cake before Her Majesty and the rest of the guests as a happy birthday song was sung. On the news, Polile Mazea at Lozita Palace.
The first ever Africa Climate Summit has ended with a call for world leaders to back global taxes to fund climate action. The joint Nairobi declaration also calls for financial reforms to help African countries. The Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Tema Masugu, represented His Majesty King Mswati III at the three-day summit that was held in Nairobi, Kenya.
The landmark Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi came to a close on Wednesday, with leaders adopting a joint Nairobi declaration to highlight Africa's potential as a green powerhouse and encourage other world leaders to support new global taxes. The declaration will serve as a basis for the continent's common position in the global climate change process. The declaration further emphasizes that no country should ever have to choose between development aspirations and climate action. Backed by the leaders of the continent of 1.3 billion people, a population set to double by 2050, the declaration will form the basis of Africa's negotiating position at November's COP28 summit. The declaration cites decarbonizing the global economy as an opportunity to contribute to equality and shared prosperity. The declaration calls on the world's biggest emitters of greenhouse gases and its richest countries to keep their promises.
The declaration we make to the world today defines and amplifies the African position on the way forward in climate action and the fundamentals that the international community must attend to in order to ensure that humanity's economic and ecological imperatives are effectively, coherently, and sustainably achieved.
During the summit, government and private investors committed billions of dollars to green initiatives, including $4.5 billion pledged by the November COP's 28 hosts, the United Arab Emirates. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the summit that renewable energy could be the African miracle if the continent manages to create an alliance with developed countries, financial institutions, and technology companies. The declaration also seeks to reform a global financial system that forces African nations to pay more to borrow money and calls for the continent's vast mineral wealth to be harvested and processed in Africa. As leaders travel back to their countries, it is only time that will tell whether or not the Nairobi Declaration is brought to full life from a mere aspiration. John Mulelekeng for Eswatini TV News, Nairobi, Kenya.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, says national and entertainment events are powerful attractions. The minister has been speaking when giving an overview of the tourism aspect of the international and entertainment events held over the weekend.
This past weekend was a busy one as a number of events, including national events such as Umhlanga ceremony, were held throughout the country, which, according to the Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, will have a remarkable impact on the country's tourism sector.
Sihlose ukuthi ngeminyaka kube na 2 million wetivakashi ngokusothi tibe ngetulu kwale lenani lebantu lesinalo. Nyalo sesiyabona ukuthi sesifuna ukufika cishe lapho. Kona singakefiki sengaphasana kwa half. Loko kusho ukuthi ufuna sisebenze kamatima ikakhulu labantu lekufanele sisebenze kuwo ngilokwanzisa letindzawo letekuthobeka lapho abantu bangeta khona bafike bangcebeleke bafike bente njani babuke letindzaba tethu bese siyathi sina sebalapho khona lebatase bayakwena phinze sanzise lemikhosi.
The minister also says the 50-55 double celebrations held by the country on Wednesday also saw quite a number of tourists and dignitaries come into the country. According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ngwenya border post recorded 8,839 arrivals from September 1st to Sunday, September 3rd. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Sam Kalsiwe Khoza with Simuva Shongwe Manzini.
Maswati are still struggling to produce enough beef and meat market demands. BC Farm Ranch Manager Christopher Kamese says the negative effects of the 2015-2016 El Nino drought are still felt to date, which results in the country struggling to meet market demands. Kamese was speaking with the news crew at the trade fair on Thursday.
Annually, Eswatini produces about 12,000 tons of beef. This is below what is required by EU markets, but enough to feed a Maswati. Mpisi Farm Ranch Manager Christopher Kamete says there's still a challenge of producing enough beef in Eswatini, but the 2015-2016 El Nino drought contributed a lot. He says to date, Eswatini struggles to produce enough beef. Ngeminyaka live laseSwatini likhicita inyama yenkomo lengu-12,000 tons. Live kasoloka likhicita inyama yenkomo leyanele lebekwe timakethe taka-EU kanike lekhicitelwa ukuthi idliwe lapha ekhaya yona-ke yanele. Christopher Kametse welitiko letikulima utsi itimo letahlukahlukene letente umkhicito ube ngilokolo phansi.
Le makethe lebekasinikete yona EU solo sehluleka kwimitha yenkulu kakhulu and it's open wide nyalo siyehluleka nje honestly speaking lokufika sithi simithe le target yabo kwanyalo silive simoshwe nje ingcinamba letincane letingasidodi enkulu ikakhulu kade kuchamukele sifo se foot and mouth sabamba lesikhwahlande kanti ngumthombo wethu lomkhulu losikhwahlande ngibo licishe sisherishelana nabo letinkomo so kwasenda lokuthi la khatha Eswatini salibala guquka ndzawonye singasakhona ukuhlenga kahle noma kulungisa kahle lo mhlambi wethu sisolo ke sibulawa ngo-2016 la sakhona sashaya somiso ikakhulu kade solo sinawo lo mthelela waso tot namuhla.
Kamete says they are planning on going back to the drawing board and strategize on breeding quality cattle. He says they want to open opportunities for Maswati to tap into while upscaling beef production.
Bafuyi bethu basengakhona lokukhetha loluhlobo lolungilona lukhona khicita inyama. So ngenta uthi njengaloku silitiko letekulima thina sitawuthi namuhla sikhicita ngalokhu sezingene siphindze futhi sivule emathuba langenamkhawulo kilo eMaswati.
In this year's trade fair, pigs are available for exhibition and farmers are said to be doing well in producing pork. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kiani MC with Smova Shongwe at the trade fair in Manzini.
As the world commemorates the International Day of Police Cooperation, Eswatini Police Service Communications Officer Pindile Vilagati says the police service, with government's assistance, have ensured that they improve their service delivery.
In an interview with Eswatini Police Communications Officer Pindile Vilagati, she says she is happy with developments made by the service in ensuring that it meets international standards in the execution of their mandate. She further thanked His Majesty and the Commissioner of Police in affording women an opportunity to lead various departments within the organization.
We do recognize all the standards as set by the nation. For instance, we have seen the King of this country, who is the National Commissioner-in-Chief, recognizing police every year in this country, and he went as far as appointing female officers, which is the main or one of the important things this nation, the United Nations, want us to recognize.
Vilagati further conveyed her gratitude to Maswati who have shown signs of understanding of the law. She says this has been observed by their code of conduct during the recent national events and the role they played in assisting the police to apprehend suspects.
We are observing a very good working relationship between police and the nation. We have seen that in many operations that we have gone through. We saw support from the nation going back to the elections. We worked very well with the nation and we experienced a great support. And we've seen people come to us with better suggestions on how to do our work.
According to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, this day seeks to remind police officers to work with dedication to ensure global peace and security. For Eswatini TV, I'm Pendulo Kumbi with Vomingosi Nzinisa and Fortune Dlangamandla Babane.
And in international news, Greek rescue services were trying to reach thousands of villagers in central Greece on Thursday after deadly storms that saw more than a year's worth of rainfall there in 24 hours. Emergency services were using divers, lifeboats, and at least one helicopter to reach the stranded residents.
The rain is still falling, but it's only a drizzle. In central and eastern Greece, residents and authorities are assessing the damage as water levels recede.
We've never experienced anything like this before in all these years.
Even old people who we spoke with told us that they've never experienced such a phenomenon. There was so much water.
Seen from the sky, some areas have become a giant lake. According to Greek authorities, the rainfall of the last few days is the most extreme on record.
No one will be left without assistance. The government vows to help rebuild destroyed homes, businesses, and infrastructure.
Greek rescuers have taken more than 800 people to safety. The damage to infrastructure, farmland, and private real estate is staggering. Greece is one of many countries hit by extreme weather every summer for the last few years as climate change takes its toll. According to estimates, August wildfires alone caused more than €1.5 billion in damage.
Cases of COVID-19 are on the rise again. Hundreds of thousands of people around the globe are believed to be currently hospitalized with the virus. The number of deaths reported is increasing as well, particularly in Asia, and concern is growing ahead of winter in the Northern Hemisphere.
Just 4 months after the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 was no longer a global health emergency, the agency is calling for action.
COVID right now is infecting and reinfecting millions. What is really important is that those who are most at risk for developing severe disease receive a booster, receive an additional dose.
The WHO estimates that hundreds of thousands of people around the world are currently hospitalized with the virus, in particular in Asia and the Middle East. But the number could, in fact, be significantly higher due to an underreporting of cases, and its Director General is urging countries to better share information about its populations.
Only 43 countries, less than a quarter of WHO member states, are reporting this to WHO, and only 20 provide information on hospitalizations.
As the agency calls on those at risk to get a booster jab, its worry is that cases will further increase as temperatures eventually lower in the Northern Hemisphere.
Antony Blinken announced $1 billion of American aid to support the Ukrainian counteroffensive, including depleted uranium ammunition for the army's tanks. The weapons are powerful but controversial. Opponents warn uranium munitions pose health risks, including cancers and birth defects, by inhaling uranium dust.
Abrams tanks like this one will soon be fully stocked with depleted uranium ammunition and ready to help in Ukraine's fight against Russia. The ammunition will be among more than $1 billion in military and humanitarian aid provided by the United States to Ukraine and should be delivered before the end of 2023. Russia, for their part, have called the move inhumane. The Russian embassy in Washington released this statement on Telegram.
The administration's decision to supply weapons with depleted uranium is an indicator of inhumanity. Clearly, with its idea of inflicting a strategic defeat, Washington is prepared to fight not only to the last Ukrainian, but also to do away with entire generations.
Depleted uranium is controversial in its use. It's used for ammunition because its extreme density gives rounds the ability to easily penetrate armor plating, and was employed by the US Army in both Gulf Wars, as well as the NATO bombing of the former Yugoslavia. But critics say there are dangerous health risks from ingesting and inhaling depleted uranium dust, including cancers and birth defects. Depleted uranium munitions have been stripped of much, but not all of its radioactive matter, and they emit low levels of radiation. The UN's nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, have urged caution when handling and have also warned of the dangers of exposure. When Britain announced in March it was sending Ukraine depleted uranium rounds, Russia falsely claimed that they have nuclear components and warned that their use would open the door to further escalation.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin are pledging deeper economic cooperation as the list of international sanctions on Russia grows.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Russian President Vladimir Putin
have pledged to increase cooperation from energy to tourism to foreign aid in their September the 4th summit at Russia's Black Sea resort of Sochi. Relations between the leaders had been cooling after Erdogan angered Moscow with his support for Ukraine's bid for NATO membership. But analysts say the outcome of the Sochi summit is a strong sign the Russian leader cannot afford to downscale relations with Erdogan.
Putin cannot face losing Erdogan. I mean, that's for sure. They don't care about what Erdogan is doing in his ties with Western countries and Western institutions. They're more interested in what kind of a cooperation they can do with Erdogan, and they make cooperation in many areas.
Russian officials confirmed Wednesday that Turkey will participate with Russia and Qatar to supply 1 million metric tons of grain to 6 African countries. Under the agreement, Turkey would process the grain into flour. Turkey would also receive grain from Russia for its own market. But analysts warned that Moscow could use the deal to export stolen Ukrainian grain, breaching international sanctions and adding to broader concerns over Turkey's refusal to enforce sanctions against Russia. With sanctions getting tighter, analysts say Turkey's becoming even more important to Russia.
There are many intermediaries in Turkey that help Russian interests, that help Russia procure goods from the West, including, basic goods as well as very sensitive goods.
At Monday's Sochi summit, Putin and Erdogan also committed themselves to increasing bilateral trade from $70 to $100 billion, including turning Turkey into a regional hub for distributing Russian gas. However, some observers say such a move would undermine efforts by Turkey's Western allies to shut Russian energy out of international markets. The Russian and Turkish leaders at Sochi also discussed Russian companies' plans to build a second nuclear reactor in Turkey.
The Sochi meeting definitely demonstrated that the interaction grew between two sides, between Russia and Turkey, and both sides are in a certain way indispensable for each other. They continue to cooperate, they continue to interact, and the number of chapters in that book of cooperation between Moscow and Ankara grew tremendously.
Deepening economic cooperation between Russia and Turkey, some analysts say, threatens to strain Ankara's ties with its Western allies as they seek to isolate Moscow, and will likely dash their hopes of a break in Erdogan's close relationship with Putin.
A recent Wall Street Journal report said the United Arab Emirates was supplying weapons to the paramilitary group allegedly carrying out many of the atrocities in neighboring Sudan. The UAE denies the accusation.
Hundreds of thousands of refugees are in Chad after fleeing atrocities allegedly committed by ethnic Arab militias whom they refer to as Janjaweed. The Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, which is fighting the military in Sudan's civil war, was created from and is linked to the Janjaweed. It's led by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hameti. One refugee described how her community came under a Janjaweed attack.
They were dressed like normal citizens. 2 or 3 of them started killing and attacking people. That's what I saw. Those Janjaweed members were burning our houses, so we started running. They killed a lot of people.
In May, representatives from a United Arab Emirates aid group visited Kafrun to draw attention to its efforts to help refugees like Badr. As the UAE promotes its humanitarian efforts in Chad, an August article by the Wall Street Journal, a US newspaper, said the UAE was supplying weapons to the RSF. The UAE has denied the allegations. VOA asked an expert on the conflict whether the allegations, if true, could prolong the conflict.
Sudan will never find peace if we don't find a way to deal with the UAE. I have been saying this like multiple times. political leaders, whoever is going to be our statesmen, stateswomen running the country, they need to go directly and sit down with UAE leaders. What exactly do you want from Sudan?
Much of Sudan's gold output, which is largely controlled by RSF leader Hemeti, is sold in the UAE. The UAE could gain on a few fronts from its reported support of the RSF in Sudan, said Brendan Novell, a PhD candidate in political science who specialises in the Horn of Africa.
I think it's a mix of political and economic interests. I think the UAE wanting to get rid of all of the Islamist elements from the former regime in Sudan. And then the economic aspect, Hemeti's still, for years, he's been using the UAE as a platform for his financial activities.
Adam Abdurrahim Yunus and his family also fled Sudan because of atrocities blamed on the RSF. He echoes the feelings of many Sudanese who say Hemeti should never rule the country because of the crimes committed by the RSF and Janjaweed.
The Janjaweed are killing people and waging war in Darfur. Their main goal from the beginning was for Hemeti to take control away from the army and rule the country. What he has succeeded in is uniting the people against him. How can he rule those people now?
In a statement made to VOA, the UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs said, "The UAE categorically refutes the claims and allegations detailed in your story. The UAE has not supplied arms and ammunitions to any of the warring parties in Sudan since the outbreak of the conflict." The UAE has also set up a field hospital to help refugees in the same Chadian town from where the weapons allegedly supplied to the RSF originated.
The manager of Japan's largest pop talent agency has stepped down after admitting that its late founder Johnny Kitagawa abused boys and young men.
It's a historic first for Mexico. 2 women at the forefront of the country's presidential primaries. Representing the ruling party is Claudia Sheinbaum, a 61-year-old climate scientist by training and former mayor of Mexico City. A staunch supporter and confidant.
Stepping down as president of the powerful J-pop talent agency Johnny's, Julie Fujishima acknowledged for the first time the abuse committed by the founder, her uncle, Johnny Kitagawa.
Both the agency and myself personally recognize that sex abuse by Johnny Kitagawa took place. I apologize to his victims from the bottom of my heart.
It comes a week after third-party investigators found Kitagawa abused hundreds of boys and young men over several decades. The investigation was commissioned by the company after a BBC documentary earlier this year sparked national outrage. Johnny Kitagawa always denied wrongdoing. He died in 2019, having never faced criminal charges. This despite victims speaking out over the years. The latest allegations came in April when singer Kwan Okamoto claimed to have been assaulted 15 to 20 times, starting in 2012 when he was 15 years old.
Johnny started to massage my feet. He took off my underwear and touched my genitals. He then performed oral sex on me.
Kitagawa's power within the industry protected him. For a long time, TV networks that relied on his talent agency didn't cover the allegations. But Thursday's press conference was carried live by most broadcasters as the wall of silence around Johnny Kitagawa was finally broken. The agency's new president, a J-pop star himself, said he will soon retire from performing and dedicate the rest of his life to dealing with the fallout.
In our sports roundup, we begin with the national team under 20 that played a 1-1 old draw against Mozambique in a friendly match that was played at the Somhlolo National Stadium last night. The match was part of the 55-55 double celebration. Under 20 head coach Mduduzi Nxumalo says the game helped them to prepare for the upcoming under 20 COSAFA tournament this year.
We begin our sports roundup with the national team under-20 that played a friendly match against Mozambique as the game was in line with the 55-55 celebration. Mozambique was quick to announce their presence within the first 20 minutes of the game as the first half ended on that note. Eswatini came knocking in the second half and was able to get an equalizer. There were a couple of chances for Eswatini to get a second goal, but the game ended on that note with both nations sharing a point. Eswatini coach Mduduzi Nxumalo says the game helped them preparing for the upcoming Under-20 COSAFA tournament.
Team of young boys, they are new, majority of them, so we are just still trying to mold them to make sure that we have a better team when it comes to time for the tournament. But we are hoping that we will get the chance to train them before the tournament, and I'm hoping the boys will be ready. Also, I think what disturbed us the most is because it is off-season. So now the players are not training at team level, so you only train when they come here.
Saidat Movea, who coaches Mozambique under-20 national team, he believes even though Eswatini gave them hard time, but they are happy with their performance.
This project that we have it's to go to under-20 COSAFA also. So we are preparing the team. We think that we are in the good conditions now to be in COSAFA. So we are not all. We try to invite under-15 TDS team and under-17.
In other news, Eswatini Football Association President Peter Smelane has congratulated His Majesty King Mswati III for the 55 years of independence and wished him a happy birthday of 55 years in a double 55-55 celebration. Smelane says the development that has been seen in sports is a result of His Majesty's passion when it comes to sport.
Siyabonga engwenyameni umsebenzi wakhe muhle kakhulu nanathi bebhola siyahalelisela ukuthi kutala kwakhe 55 years plus ne-independence 55 years so vele lo suku leli beluluhle kakhulu nani nibonile nje umsebenzi wenkosi solo waqala uhambe kahle and niyasibona nala e-stadium ukuthi hayi cha sesi-improvile inkosi siyabonga lokuthi at least le standard sesisale stadium sesikhuphukile.
Smelane concluded mentioning that Somhlo National Stadium is at the final stages where few items are remaining such as screen and generator, where there will be no doubt that CAF will give a green light to Eswatini to use the facility for international games. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fobisum Sonara, Mbabane.
It's 28 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've come to the end of our English bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. All right, so welcome back. At this moment, we shall cross over to my colleague, Sifiso Nxumalo, who is down at the trade fair. Lapho khona interview ama clients ethu namake bamvula bakhangisa imicido yabo khona at trade fair. Sifiso, good morning. Over to you.
A very good morning, Lungalele, to yourself as well as our KBS viewer. We are still tracking developments here at the Eswatini International Trade Fair, and here's a bank that offers to give you complete range of solutions, or rather banking solutions for individuals, small businesses and corporates alike. But to tell us more about that, here's their head of branch networks, Zama Ngwane Dlamini, joining us. A very good morning to you, Nkosi. How are you?
I'm fine, Nguni. Good morning to you and your viewers. Thank you for having us.
You want us to take our money seriously, as we can see Langamuvak Baliwe. How are you promising to help us take our money seriously at this year's Eswatini International Trade Fair?
At this year's trade fair, we are still standing by walking the journey with our customers in them taking their money seriously by being responsible. We are offering product suites that suit their need, as you've mentioned. And this year we are actually promoting 3 specific products which we believe will suit the clientele that we're targeting. That's our current account offering. And our current account offering has the gold debit card that we are offering. This debit card has an array of features and functionality that allows seamless banking, including purchasing on e-commerce sites as well as subscriptions and the like. We are also offering our recently launched digital wallet. It's called the Nedbank Mobi Money Wallet. And of course, this one allows for those customers who are banked and also unbanked to make and receive payments. This product, you can hold up to a certain amount in terms of the capacity of the wallet, which is 25,000 emalangeni, and you can withdraw these funds and make prepaids. The registration process is simple. It's seamless as well. It doesn't require a customer to have airtime. We use a dial string, *141 *41 hash. And then the last product, which we do believe is integral in all our clients' lives, is to have a funeral cover, be it for your immediate family as well as your extended family. We offer an extended family funeral cover from as little as 10 emalangeni. So those are the products that we are aggressively encouraging customers to actually learn more about, take them up, adopt them, and use them. So that's from a consumer perspective. And I think for businesses, we do have our offering, which is a pocket POS. We call it pocket POS for the small and medium enterprise. But of course, all our other asset type offerings are on offer. We are available at the exhibition hall. In Pavilion 1, and we offer the full product suites. If you want a car, we will offer you a car. If you want a home loan or a personal loan and an overdraft, we are available to give you all the facilities you will need if you come and engage us.
Yeah. We're on day 8 of the Eswatini International Trade Fair 2023. Only 2 days left now. You've been speaking about encouraging consumers to take up these offerings. How has the uptake been like over the past 8 days, and what would you say to the consumer looking at the fact that we only have 2 days left?
It's been a great 8 days so far for the bank. I think we have performed well. We've engaged with our customers, and we've taken the opportunity to get and receive feedback from our customers who've come in to consult and give us first-hand experience. It's always nice to be on the ground and interacting with the customers to solution for them at that point in time. Of course, we are encouraging our customers to continue to visit us as we are still at the trade fair until the 10th when it ends, and also to continue the journey with us and find us in all our branches currently. As well, they can find more information about all the products that we offer on our social media pages, being LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah, I'm seeing on social media a lot of the companies exhibiting here. Just very grateful about His Majesty the King's visit to their stalls. How honoring was that for Nedbank? Because we did see him make a stop here as well.
Yes, I think, like you're rightfully saying, Mguni, it was quite an honor for us, and we are feeling quite privileged to have a banking relationship with the country's leaders as Nedbank, and we were quite excited and happy that they did visit us. We continue to show our support and pledge to the country in terms of solutioning for community needs. as the country has also just celebrated its independence as well.
Yeah, that's Zama Ngwane Dlamini, the head of branch networks at Nedbank Eswatini, just telling us what they are offering for consumers here at this year's Eswatini International Trade Fair. It's been 3 years since we've had this exhibition here in Manzini. We hope that since we have 2 days left now for this year's trade fair, consumers will indeed come here and take up all these offerings that they are offering. Back to the studio.
All right, Smakhulu Sfiso, thank you. Nguyo, my colleague, is down at the trade fair. We are khulumisana nebaga Nedbank. Up next, sikhulumisane nebaga Boto University. So labasichazela nje ukuthi what are they offering bona for bamfuna bafisa ku-enrolla nayo iBoto University. Let's take a look.
Sanbonane, welcome back. And in this edition, we are going to talk about the Boto University's Boto graduate profile, which is a unique internship model, and also the Boto University's technology background. So when I talk about the technology, Boto University is driven by the technology. Like when a student admits into the Boto University, from the admission until the student graduates, we rely on the technology. We reduce the paperwork. A student can do the application online. And the applications, we are not charging anything. It's for free of cost. And when the student applies with the Boto University in an online, then the student will get an offer letter over the email. From there, the student registration will be happening. That's also been controlled by our system called as a CRM. Then a student enrollment process, and students can have access to our portal where the students can able to access their Blackboard management system, which is our learning management. The students are able to do all their assignments. All their learning materials are available through the Blackboard. And we also been, on top of the physical library, we use the e-resources, e-library, where we have close to 100,000 editions of books and the journals, which are open to the students who are enrolling with Boto. On top of it, students can able to see their results, can able to see their class schedules over the portal. Even the same is for the case of staff members. And all the students and the staff are being supported with the tablet and a laptop. Every student who enrolls with Boto University will be getting a tablet which will allow them to access the learning management system. With the staff members will have a laptop for supporting the teaching and learning process. And I would proudly say this, during the time of COVID-19, from 2020 until 2022, end of 2022, our academic calendar hasn't been affected because all our students have been moved seamlessly to the online learning, and they can able to learn effectively, complete the semesters during this period. So our first intake has happened in 2019, and without a break, the students are graduating in December 2023. So that's how the technology has improved the Boto University learning environment. When I talk about the Boto graduate profile, which is a unique internship model, which prepare the students with the ability of articulate, collaborative, critical thinking, digital, literate, and innovative and entrepreneurial, and a positive and a confident graduates. All these are inculcated into their curriculum. The students are allowed to go for an internship, a compulsory internship for 6 months. When I talk about an internship, we have two types of internship, where a student will go for a physical internship, where they go to a company, work physically, and we are also been introduced a model called a virtual internship. The reason for coming to the virtual internship is during the COVID, the companies doesn't allow anyone to go for a physical internship. So we embark on satisfying that one by using a virtual internship. We have an international partners with the virtual internship, like a virtual internship and a next step. These are the two agents who will be employing our graduates into the world-class entrepreneurs outside the country. Currently, we have 8 students from our batch of 2021, who are being into the internship, and they are working in the companies in Netherlands. They are working for companies from India. They are working for companies from Taiwan, and it cut across all the programs like Students from health information, they are working for a health sector in a virtual internship. Students from IT, they are working for companies from India, from the IT sector. And the students from accounting, they are working for companies in South Africa. So you might be wondering how these things are happening when virtual internships are being, when a student is virtually in Eswatini. We will also support the students with the data for them to do the virtual internship effectively. So we have a student who is going to share their experience on the virtual internship.
As Boto University has progressed in the technology, so it has helped me to get a virtual internship, which is scarce in Eswatini. So as I am doing virtual internship, it has helped me a lot because from my background, I came from a rural school where computer wasn't a subject. But when I get into Boto University, they introduced me into the technology, and that helped me to adapt in the virtual internship space, because everything in the virtual internship, you are supposed to know a lot about technology and how you can achieve any task given through technology. And also you have to be independent in doing the work, because no one is always reminding you about doing your work, but you do your work responsibly. I am currently interning at Netherlands in a company called Medex eHealth Center. It is a company, it's a digital hospital, and I have already been given a project that is called Coda Pass, which is an AI-driven ICT that automates codes which can help health workers to code correctly. It can be accurate. Because I've already been introduced into the digital by Boto University. Boto University also helped by giving me an internet provision so that I can be able to do work and always communicate with my host company. And also Boto University gives us encouragement. They check us every time if we are able to do the work, because it is something new to us. So it always gives us support. And also our host company always be patient with us. And also what I've already learned in my internship is that it is very difficult to adapt if you don't have the technology background. But Boto University is there to help with encouraging us and teaching us about the technology part. And also it is very advantageous to do the virtual internship because it doesn't cost much, because you are working from a different country while you are at Eswatini, and also you can do your work at home, and in that way you can communicate with people, you can network from different countries, different cultures. You learn different cultures from different people. As I'm working in Netherlands, there are very different people, because the African people and even in the European continent, there are people there. You can learn more about how to communicate and how to socialize with people in different countries than your original country.
Right, at this moment we shall cross over back to Sfiso, who is down at the trade fair. Right now he is with F&B. He'll be speaking to them. Sfiso, over to you.
Lungalele, we are once again still here at the Eswatini International Trade Fair at the F&B store, where we are about to speak to Mr. Ngosing Pile Mkonda from West Bank. We have seen everyone speaking on social media. In fact, the topic of conversation really at this year's International Trade Fair has been a car that is apparently up for grabs. Lomunye uze wenda ijoke enkundleni yokuxhumana ukuthi hayi madvodza enu agijimisa amaform lana afuna kuwina imoto. Mr. Ngosing Nkosing Phile, let's welcome you on the program this morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And how are you? It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm doing very well myself. Talk to me about what inspired West Bank to sponsor the Win a Car competition.
So, as part of our drive, so maybe by way of background, West Bank is the vehicle and asset finance leg of FNB. So we do everything vehicle and asset related in terms of finance. So as we were considering and as the opportunity presented itself, we wanted to really reaffirm ourselves as the apex or prime service provider in terms of giving eMaswati access to mobility. Right. So mobility, from our perspective, is what drives a landlocked economy. People need to move, goods need to move, and we wanted to really reaffirm practically our commitment to enabling that.
Yeah. A lot of puns in your response there. What drives a landlocked country? We're speaking about a car. You're also speaking on, putting people in terms of mobility. Let's talk about West Bank liking to put its consumers in the driver's seat. What do you mean by that?
Okay. I like that you picked up the pun, and it is intended. Yeah. So putting people on the driver's seat is a two-way thing for us, right? So the obvious way is we are providing vehicle finance. So we want to make sure that people actually get into their dream vehicles and to demonstrate that that is attainable. So we're here at the trade fair actually doing financial quotations, calculating for people, to find out their levels of affordability and process the applications throughout. The second element of it is more of a personal, so an individual take on it to say, we also want, when you've got a fresh set of wheels, you feel sort of on top of the world, you feel in charge of your life. So as part of what we do, as part of our mission and what we're excited and passionate about, we want to put you on the driver's seat of your life as well. So it is a pun or double entendre, if I may say.
Quite interesting. I'm hoping I will be seeing myself in front of that driver's seat in that car, because I did indeed enter the competition. Let's talk about some of the highlights that you've witnessed during the course of this year's International Trade Fair. We only have 2 days left now. We're on day 8, I believe.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing from my side, and having communicated with my wonderful team, is interacting with our clients. So I think the biggest proof point for me is actually having a conversation with someone who didn't think they could get access because bebatsi letimoto lenti finance or or whatever. But calculating and structuring something that's actually within their affordability and something that won't put so much strain on their cash flow, I think that's been the biggest thing. We've had quite a few people inquire, but see, maybe we just want to see, and then we end up taking it through the process. And then, of course, interacting with some of our clients. I think a lot of the exhibitors here are people who are our clients from a business perspective and also from individual perspective, and just getting feedback on how we can do better. And of course, interacting with the FNB Business Chamber. I think there's been a lot of exciting things going on there. Some talking to youth employment, some talking to trade opportunities, and those are the sort of things we're about and that excite us.
Yeah. That is Mr. Nkosing Phile Mkonda, Head of Secured Lending with West Bank. We just wrapped up our conversation. But right now, we will speak to Mr. Dumsani Skosana. He is the commercial salesman. I would love for Mr. Dumsani to take center stage now so that we unpack other developments with regards to some of the things they're exhibiting really at this year's Eswatini International Trade Fair. We know that West Bank and FNB are more or less the same thing, but Mr. Skosana will explain really the difference there. But as I welcome you, Mr. Skosana, I just spoke to Mr. Nkosing Phile Mkonda, who is the head of secured lending, quite articulate about what you've seen at this year's Eswatini International Trade Fair. Positives only. My question for you would be, just along F&B, what has been the highlight so far?
I'll hold that for you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here. Dumsane is my name, as you have mentioned. The biggest highlight, or what we have rather brought in at the trade fair this year, it's largely around what we are driving as a unit strategy around run, start, grow your business. So a trade fair kakhulu kuma exhibitors and kuma owners of the business, sithi if your business really needs to grow, please come and have a conversation with us. We can score your business, and we could come up with an X amount so that you could be able to grow your enterprise as well.
Yeah. Were you happy with what you saw at the business lounge? Because that is something that everyone was excited about, especially people my age, the youth.
We were very, very, very much excited, and positive feedback from the people that visited our lounge as well has made us, to come up with a lot of exciting products for them as well. Yes.
We also saw the business chamber as well. Quite interesting developments, especially looking at the fact that they are not just offering banking solutions now, but also, inculcating the spirit of starting businesses and how they can help you sustain those businesses, and something that we really, really urgently need as a country right now, especially with the predicament of youth unemployment. Back to you in the studio, Lungelele.
Right. Thank you so much, Sfiso Smakulu. Good to you, now my clients. At this moment, let's take a break. Stop best of us.
This weekend is Eswatini, your official weekend party starter. Tune in for the best of entertainment. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send your shout-outs. Be sure to catch our movie segment where we review and give updates on all latest movies. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
Selemizuzu lemithafu kuthishaya insimbi esiphohlongo lomhla ekutheni isimakhulu kuthini kethe kuvuka nathi on the show today. It is a Friday, sicala impela somfo sithemba kuthini ndaba nempela somfo lenhle nale busisekile balekele ke ukuthi sithi phathe kahle nanoma ngikuphila siyakhona sisema nje ukuthi umdalo tasiphephisa sithe sibone liviki lelilandzelako. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Nisale kahle.
This weekend is Eswatini, your official weekend party starter. Tune in for the best of entertainment. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send your shout-outs. Be sure to catch our movie segment where we review and give updates on all latest movies. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.